Hi everybody, I'm Howard, and this is Howard's Retirement Corner. So Social Security and entitlement. Now the reason I bring this up is I just read an article a day or two ago in Yahoo Finance. And article is entitled America is Running Out of Money and Nobody Cares. And it's written by Samuel Gregg. And we'll get to him soon. So essentially it was an article about the amount of debt the government has, the U.S. government has, and what the ramifications of that are. But the interesting thing is the way people focused on this article. And here's one line out of it. The truth is that the rapid growth in America's national debt is driven by two factors. The first is spending on major entitlement programs like Social Security, Medicare, and what is called income security or unemployment benefits. So out of that one line, it generated a huge majority of the comments. And the comments were, stop calling Social Security an entitlement program. It's not an entitlement program. Why do you call it that? We earned those benefits. We paid into it. Why do you call it an entitlement program? And I've seen this on hundreds of articles over several years. And the comments are always the same in that vein. And it always baffles me because, if I look up the definition of entitlement or entitlements, it's the fact of having the right to something or the amount to which a person has the right. So the way I read those comments is the people think that when you call it an entitlement, that it's somehow charity or a giveaway, or it's something that, out of the goodness of the government, they've decided to bestow some award on you that you haven't otherwise earned. But the point is, we all pay into Social Security, and because of that, we have earned or we are entitled to a benefit. And that's all it is. It's really very, disarming when you think of it that way. It's our right. We earned it. We're entitled to it. Don't take it as an insult. Don't take it as something, condescending. It's an entitlement. That's what it is. And when it comes down to it, who cares what you call it or what they call it, as long as you get the amount you're supposed to get based upon how much money you paid into the program. But it just shocked me that this was the comment on this whole longer article about debt and spending and taxes in the U.S. You would dare call Social Security an entitlement program. It is an entitlement program. Medicare is an entitlement program. You paid into it, you're entitled to a benefit. Okay, so now the the second thing about that comment, and this is one I've talked about before, and this one that really bothers me. The fact that they're talking about the reason our debt is so high is because our spending on entitlement programs is so high. And the fact is, Social Security and Medicare add nothing to the national debt. They are not responsible for deficits from year to year. All the money spent on those programs comes from the people who are the beneficiaries of those programs. You pay taxes, you pay Medicare premiums, you pay copay, you pay, whatever you pay, it's coming out of your pocket, not the government's. Maybe coming out of someone else's pocket for your benefit, but it's not the government's pocket. You could stop Social Security today and it wouldn't change the deficit at all. You can double Social Security today and it wouldn't affect the deficit at all. It has nothing to do with deficit or debts. Make that clear. And the fact that this article is in Yahoo and it's written by a man, and let's get to this guy. He's a doctor. He's British. He works for some American think tank though. He's a doctor of philosophy and political economy, and I'm not sure how that translates to degrees here. I don't know what a political economy means. So he works for the Acton Institute, which is based in Grand Rapids, Michigan, of all places. and it's for the study of religion and liberty. So based upon the research, and I've never heard of this before, so based upon the research I've done and what Wikipedia says about it, it's pretty much considered either a conservative or a libertarian think tank. So, maybe that explains his comment, because we've heard this from Republicans, not so much libertarians, but Republicans before, that the debt can only be fixed by lowering what we pay for Social Security and Medicare. So, that's the author, and if he believes that, fine, who cares? But if he's an expert or has a PhD somehow in economics, and he's studied the U.S. systems, he's wrong, and he shouldn't be writing this. But furthermore, where are the editors for Yahoo? I mean, come on, this is Yahoo Finance. They should know better than this. They could write just a little disclaimer, we don't agree with these opinions. We don't believe, Social Security and Medicare add to the debt or whatever, but they don't. So, they're both to blame. And again, I'm going to say it probably 100 times in the future, Social Security and Medicare add nothing to the national debt. All right, so finally, the nuts and bolts of the story is, does the U.S. government spend too much money? And the answer, and this is my opinion here, is yes. There's no reason right now to be running deficits. We're running up trillions of dollars of deficits, since the recovery from the COVID recession. And in my mind, in my thinking, the government should be allowed to run deficits, but when they're needed, when we're in a period of recession. During COVID, when we went into recession, both the Trump and Biden administrations got Congress to approve huge stimulus packages, maybe even too big, but that's the reason you run deficits, is to stimulate the economy when we fall into a recession. And we did that. We've been doing this for years and years and years now, when we're not in recession, or we continue to spend more than we take in, and we end up running up deficits and borrowing money. And the debt's 35 trillion now, and it's going to add another 3 trillion in the next year. I mean, come on, what's the point of that? It's unsustainable. There's nothing wrong with running deficits and having debt, as long as you can manage the debt. But eventually, the interest on the debt gets so large it crowds out other spending, and then we're going to have to make some really, really tough cuts. The sooner we make these cuts and stop overspending, the easier it'll be. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be easier. Do we have to cut defense? Do we have to cut welfare programs? Do we have to, where do we cut? It's an extremely difficult decision. I'm sure there's 800 line items in the budget of things people don't agree with spending, and maybe those are some of the items, they're nickel and dime stuff, 10 million here, 100 million here, in a multi-trillion-dollar budget, but someone's got to make those cuts. It's got to happen. So, summing up here, Social Security and Medicare are entitlement programs. They do not add anything to the deficit or debt, and we have too much deficit and too big of a deficit and too much debt. Tell me what you think. Tell me about this entitlement viewpoint, because I don't get it. I don't get why it makes people so angry. Do they just not understand the definition, or is it the way, the context it's put in articles and on TV that it upsets them? What's your take on the word entitlement? What's your take on why people keep claiming these programs run up deficits and debt? And then, in general, do you think we should have a balanced budget amendment? I don't. I think we need the ability to overspend at times. But give me your opinions. Let's have some comments on it. Let's have some discussions. Again, if you like my videos, please subscribe. Please like, please share, comment, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks.